Hello everyone, this is Zeeebo and welcome to this AFK journey video. So in this AFK journey video, we are going to talk about the return of two kings in the Dream Realm side of things, which are Shakir as well as Kruger. So let me talk about the changes first and why they are back to relevancy in the meta. So the two changes, number one, it's with regards to the reduction of damage increase as the seasonal Dream Realm bosses HP decreases. So for the bossing mechanics, as the bosses HP decreases, the attack of the bosses will increase. So in this latest patch right here for the seasonal Dream Realm bosses, for those of you guys who are playing the Song of Strife season, the rate of increase for the damage of the boss is reduced. So now, right, the bosses hit a lot less compared to the previous. I would say a lot less, but lesser. So this means that you can survive with lesser sustain and more offense to do more damage. That's number one. So that's why you can put in Kruger for debuffing, because you no longer need to use the survival unit to survive. You can now focus on debuff to make the damage of your team increase as a whole. So that's why Kruger became a lot more relevant. At the same time, the other mechanical changes is the change to Shakir's ultimate. So Shakir's ultimate I also include on screen, right, is changing of the landing projectile of the ultimate. So previously in auto mode, because in Dream Realm you can only auto the bosses, so Shakir will always be flying to the extreme corners of the maps, which actually makes that looping aura that he provides to the team less efficient, because the aura will probably only cover himself and maybe one unit. But right now, this unit will always be landing right in front of the bosses. So that's where you can actually position units that tend to move towards the center of the map. Maybe like, for example, Talin with the ultimate. For example, Odie, if you're able to send Odie in. Or, right, whatever melee units you can fight all around, you can pair them with Shakir so that they can benefit from his skills. So why do you want to use Shakir for Dream Realm? Because Shakir, with the ultimate over here, Ravaging Claw, right, provides a looping aura, which reduces damage for allies that are within that circular aura, as well as provide a haste, which allows your unit to do stuff faster, right? Do more damage, provide more sustain, or even do more debuffing if you're using Kruger together with Shakir. So just nice for today's boss. This boss over here, Dream Realm boss Snow Stomper right here, endless mode, right, can be tackled with the physical team. So the current meta, or the strongest teams as you guys can see over here, consists of Kruger together with Florbell, Vala together with Tamasia, as well as Merrily with the Quick Blade spell. So this is the full physical team, and one of the reasons why Kruger can come back is because Kruger has that massive physical defense debuff, and then you have physical defense debuff from your Quick Blade spell, and then you throw in a bunch of physical attackers, and there you have it, one of the highest damage build in this boss. So that's why this team comes about. So what if you don't have Florbell like myself? What can you do? I actually have a team down here which runs Odie together with Shakir. So this is actually the old team setup for Snow Stomper in the previous season. So I'm going to showcase the replay. This is the damage distribution. So we'll be using Reina to send in Odie, so that Odie will benefit from the buff from Shakir as well as Kruger. So without further ado, let's do the run itself, okay? So as you guys can see, the battle will start like this. So I'll talk about the details first before speeding up the battle. So what has changed for this boss? Previously, when you send in our dear Odie, he won't be able to survive till the end because the bosses were hitting a lot harder. Secondly, right, Shakir will be flying all over the map, so his buff will not be able to benefit a lot of the units. But right now, as you guys can see, he started off the ultimate flying to the center of the map, so the circular aura that Shakir is able to provide covers more units. So these units within the aura, they will benefit from the haste buff as well as damage reduction buff. So now the bosses are dealing less damage over time with lesser HP. So with that looping aura that Shakir can provide, right, your units will have no issue surviving, okay? So generally the idea is still the same. Reina's gonna swap in Odie, so Odie stays in place to benefit from the buff from Shakir as well as do damage on the front line, and Merrily will be the one breaking the ice at the back line, because both Odie as well as Merrily, they do pretty balanced damage. At the same time, Shakir also has a very high movement speed, allowing Shakir to hit this prison as fast as possible. So this is how the team works, right? Kruger is there for debuffing as well as surviving really well, and then I'm I'll go at 3 times. So we're gonna do this. So you guys can see Shakir will always be just landing right in front of the boss. So now the aura will be more centralized, which will cover more unit and then give you more damage buff. Okay, so then you can play around with the positioning to see whether or not you can do more damage. So I'm gonna do one more run again. So the floor bell team should probably be still the stronger one, but for myself, because I don't have a floor bell build up, let's just do one more run. So I think for this one, I'm gonna do this. Put him in front. Okay, I'm gonna put Odie here. Okay, so we're gonna make do with evocation spell, and without further ado, let's start. Okay, so go at 3 times. This is a rerun to see the damage range. So just now was 39 build. I think I can do 40 build if I am lucky on the RNG, depending on where Shakir's looping aura lands. Okay, so now Merrily actually jumped out, unfortunate. Okay, we shall see how the final damage goes. Okay, so this I'll say like hybrid team is probably okay to be called the second best team, right? The physical team is currently the strongest because of all the different physical attackers with the massive physical defense debuff. Because when you're attacking the boss, right, you can't actually use your skill. So your normal attack, which is your physical attack or your magical attack, depending on what damage type you're doing, is going to be the main way to do damage. That's why the physical team, which is the top team right now, is the way to go, or rather the optimal team. So I'm going to run through this player, my friend's team, and do the replay. So this is the positioning, as you guys can see over here. And let's start the replay. Okay, so same thing. There's no healer here right now because the boss deals less damage, and your team, if you have enough stats, should be able to survive. At least if you are at least 600 plus levels for the seasonal dream realm side. Okay, so Kruger is there for the debuff, a bunch of physical shield debuff on top, a lot of physical damage. Later on, we see a damage distribution again. Okay, and for Floorbell, not only is the summons able to do damage, it's also able to help remove the prisons ASAP, which sort of keeps your team healthy as well, because prison is going to be one of the main source of damage by the boss. So that's where you guys will see why this team hits so hard, even though there's no synergy in factional bonus. Yeah, there's no factional bonus here, by the way. Because anyway, you have also, sorry, you have a 3 light barrel bonus. Yeah, you have a Tamaja, you have Merrily, and you have a Vala. So you have a 3 unit, but you guys can see the damage distribution. So Merrily obviously doing a lot of damage, but Vala's not losing out because physical damage buffed by all the physical defense debuff as well as the quick wit spell. And then we have Floorbell also doing a lot of damage because of the physical defense debuff as well. So that's why this team works. And on top of that, Shakir as well as Kruger is not only good in this boss. So I'm going to run through the different bosses in the top damage. So Lone Gaze right here, Shakir is also really good for a different reason, because right now, let's see. Okay, I'm going to do this replay. So this is the positioning, but the position doesn't matter. So for this boss, what happens over here is Shakir will transform into the wolf form, and because Shakir no longer flies very far back, right, the looping aura is very centralized, so the damage reduction as well as the haste buff now covers more units. As you guys can see, like a lot of my units, they're covered by that buff. And that's where they will hit a lot harder and they will survive better with the 25% damage reduction. So previously we were relying on Coco for the damage reduction as well as the shielding. But right now, with the reduction in the boss's damage, as well as Shakir being a lot better with the looping aura covering your team, right, you're able to survive better while providing additional haste for more units, so doing more damage. So Shakir is also in the top tier meta team, and that's why I say they are the return of the kings, because they used to be quite good for the different bosses, but they've fallen off for different reasons. So next we run through Alpha Bear. So Alpha Bear right here is still gonna be reliant on the healers because Alpha Bear is quite sustain heavy. So right here, there's not much change in terms of the meta team. Skyclops wise, right, also not much change. So for Shakir's case, it's Lone Gaze as well as Snow Stomper. For Necro Dragon, right, I'll say you can actually use this team over here. Very, very solid team, by the way. This is another physical debuff team. So this one uses Tamaja together with Merrily, but this time around you are giving Kruger the that debuff for the physical attacker. So this is there's a replay error, I think. So this is actually the top guy, but let's run through the replay. Okay, so this is how Kruger does his job. So another thing about Kruger is that this unit not only is a debuffer but survives pretty well in the whole battle. So it's able to just apply debuff permanently in battle, and even though he's not moving and he's getting debuffed by Necro Dragon over here, right, with all the debuff that Necro Dragon applies to like just stationary units, the debuff that he provides just amps up the damage of the Major together with Merrily before her true damage by so much that it's worth using this setup for more damage. So that's why Kruger is back, that's why Shakir is back. Okay, so I run it at 3 times so you guys can run the full battle. Okay, and okay, done with the battle. So this is 47 build damage. Strongest team right now for our dear Necro Dragon. So removal of Corin. So for those of you guys who are wondering if I don't have Kruger, can I use the Corin team? So this guy over here ran the Corin team without Kruger, and you guys can compare the damage, right? So this guy is same level as this guy, slightly less damage. I think you can still do the same amount of damage, but if you do have a Kruger, you can definitely use like this physical debuff setup over here. So lastly, Snow Stomper over here. So this is the physical team. Okay, and you have me over here with the Shakir as well as the OD swap in thread. Okay, so that's it for this video. Just to tell you guys that Shakir as well as Kruger, they are now more usable in Endless Dream Realm than ever because of the recent mechanics changes. Thank you very much for tuning in. Do remember to like and subscribe to see more, and I'll see you guys again in my next video. Bye guys.